Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support. Any kind of updates I usually go about on Twitter X. Yesterday, I did manage to publish Jussan, the second episode. It's going to be a relatively short series. Um, I also did manage. I don't know why it says here, appears here, but I did manage to yesterday record the Karma the Dark World demo gameplay. I will be publishing that tomorrow instead of Jusa episode, so I can mix up a little bit there on the thing there. But yeah, other than that, we already have some complete gameplay series, and I have more gameplay demos there on that playlist. Other than that, I think that's what I got here in terms of channel updates. So let's go for the news. Not much happening, but as always, something interesting came up here. Interesting enough, ASUS releases the GPU Tweak Free update, which has what it seems a power connector, power detector plus, sorry, which is something that it seems to be only available for ROG Astral or Astral and I think and Matrix GPU cards from ASUS. This again, it comes to the RTX 50 series. It's something interesting that there is something that can be already kind of monitored through software, which lends the belief to me that again I don't know why we didn't see this kind of at least not only software monitoring in terms of the power delivery, because this will give you warnings if something is out of bounds in terms of especially on amperage. Here you can see a flashing thing here. It says indicating which pin is out of the bounds of the what it should be in terms of balancing power there. I don't know why, especially NVIDIA didn't implement hardware module. I don't know on the board of the chip itself in balancing power, because if you can for sure monitor this thing, and it was something that was implemented in the 3090 Ti when they first implemented this 12-volt power pin stuff here. There was a module on the GPU itself on the PCB that balanced the power delivery of this cable, because I don't know why especially at the 50 series you have a $2,000 GPU at MSRP when you can find it, if you can find it, doesn't have something like this to avoid what we've been seeing here and there, but especially on the 4090s, power connector melting. And it's not a rare occurrence that people might think it is. I still see usually on my YouTube feed on some repair shops that continue to insist they receive at least minimum a handful of replacing the power connector on the GPU side of thing on 4090s, a handful of cases at least per week, which is something very interesting. In terms of the 5090s, again, I think mainly by the fact that we are not seeing a lot of stock out in the wild. We didn't see a lot of cases here, I think, reported on the sites that I usually go. Supposedly, there's only like 3 or 4 cases, not even a handful of cases of power connectors melting. But it seems to be a little bit more critical when something like this happens. I think we got a case on the side of the PSU or near the PSU. Not only does the connectors kind of melted, it seems, but the cables themselves are swollen, which is not good. Given when we got this kind of situation happening, it might lead to like catching fire. Usually, when plastic starts and rubber, or I don't know what kind of not alloy, but what kind of material is used on those. We were using that specific case in those cables, but usually between rubber and plastic, when they start swelling up, it's basically reaching the boiling and burning point, which is not a good indication. But yeah, it's interesting that ASUS itself has a software where you can monitor, and this software can be used similar to MSI, the Afterburner software, can be used in any GPU, being AMD or NVIDIA, it seems. But yeah, it's interesting to see that we got this situation here that you can monitor the and give warnings to the user, but to a certain extent, when things might start getting out of bounds, you're already doing. You're not avoiding; you're just remedying the situation, because then when you get this warning, then you have to exit the applications, try to shut off the computer, or just abort the computer itself, but just by shutting off the power button, which it's usually not very healthy, especially if you have programs running or games or something like that. Usually can be a little bit disastrous there. But yeah, it's interesting to see that they have the capability of monitoring in software. It's but it's interesting nonetheless that the fact that at least $2,000 GPU, and even the 5080, which is it's a $1,000 GPU, you don't have anything that can have the prevention of getting the power balance out of bounds of what it's supposed to be doing. But yeah, again, this seems to be something that is available also here, at least on this Power Detector Plus feature. But this Power Detector feature is only for specific GPUs of Astral and Matrix GPUs, which in this case, I think it's only NVIDIA stuff there because it's the only ones that have 12-volt power pins. Yeah, got my rant out of the way here. Suppose we will have Xbox, not XCOM, Xbox Games Showcase again. This is usually like the big event of the year. Usually it's around about the time where supposedly there was an E3. Given that there is no more E3, a lot of the publishers and platforms like Xbox, PlayStation, I don't know, Bethesda's, and all that jazz, they're trying to aim those big showcases of the year around about this time. And supposedly Xbox is going to do at June 8th. And after that, interestingly enough, we got the Outer Worlds 2 kind of in deep dive or in-depth dive for this upcoming game. I think that from what I understand, the Outer Worlds one is a pretty decent game from Obsidian. We got the Avowed debacle, which it's not even a debacle; it's a shit show of a game in a lot of sense, in a lot of ways. Sorry. Um, it's not something that I'll be playing. It's something that it's not interesting me, even though there might be some positive stuff in the game. But as a overall, I don't think the game is very well even polished at a technical level, which is something that it's been playing Obsidian games for a while. Yeah, hopefully the Outer Worlds 2 is an improvement on Outer Wilds 1. Again, I didn't play Outer Wilds 1 yet. I will eventually try out that game. But yeah, it's still a little bit plagued with PC performance. I just hope that they can turn around and make an improvement on the first one, and at least deliver out of the box um, smooth experience in terms of the jankiness that Obsidian, to a certain degree, is well known for the games that they launch. But yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. Again, I'm interested in Xbox Games Showcase because at this moment in time, the strategy of Xbox seems to be launching at the same day games for Xbox and PC platforms. So there might be something interesting from the plethora of studios that are under Xbox that they might launch something that it might be interesting for the PC gaming community. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Still, we are a little bit ways until June. On other stuff, we got the Molasses Flood studio. It was dissolved, or basically was integrated within CD Projekt Red studio itself. These guys managed to do Drake Hollow, which I think it's a more recent game, and they did also the Flame in the Flood. I usually do the Flame in the Flood highlights on the gaming deals. It seems a very interesting game, kind of a roguelike when you basically go down the river on a raft, and then you try to do some stops there, try to gather some resources to upgrade your character. You have to think, manage also like Hunger and First and all that jazz. It seems an interesting game. It's a smaller game, but this Drake Hollow seems like a multiplayer game, which I don't think it has excellent feedback from the players there. I think it's an open world third person multi a multiplayer game. I don't know, but yeah, they were acquired in 2021 by CD Projekt Red, and supposedly at the time they said they keep their current identity, they will not be merged within existing teams, and at the time they also said the studio will be working on its own ambitions project, which is based off one of the CD Projekt's IP, which is the Witcher, which was Project Sirius, the multiplayer game in the Witcher universe. Again, it was cancelled in the meantime, which at least some publishers are seeing that this multiplayer or better said games as a service is not going well. The market is oversaturated with those. And again, I always ramble regarding this situation. Again, you're trying to cater on time of players, mainly because again, the day has only 24 hours. You spend supposedly around between, I don't know, between 6 to 8 hours sleeping because you need to rest, and then you got a day that you need to manage for 16 hours at least. And in all of those hours in the day, usually I don't know, average person might play 1, 2, maybe 3 hours a game. And again, you're competing in that 1 to 3 hours per day for people to play your game, in the sense that games as a service, that there is something that it needs to be reoccurring. People need to go there or not all day, but they want it all day, but you need to go there every day and spend time for, I don't know, from daily rewards. Then you got the microtransaction stuff there. They think, and when you are competing in oversaturated market in that sense, again, some projects will eventually fail because it's to a certain degree you're competing with time, which is something that you cannot recoup, and time passes by. That you cannot go back in time to try and manage that. But yeah, yeah, and last May, they were hit by some layoffs. Again, this is a smaller studio. I think still 24 employees at the time is still a big part of that studio because this is a very small studio. And this was after this multiplayer Witcher game went an internal reboot. So they were trying to change directions, which eventually leads to cancellation of that project. But yeah, they now are merged. They got on their website. They got this kind of statement. They let everybody know as April 1st they are merged with CD Projekt Red Incorporated, and yeah, they're basically part of that. Even though again, the games that they launched before, the Flame in the Flood and Tracolo, will continue to be sold as usual. So no, again, there's no surprising stuff there. And the CD Projekt CEO said that basically they had to backtrack what they said at the time of acquiring the Molasses Flood studio. They basically justify it as to ensure even better alignment in the scope and direction of the project at the time. And although this naturally entails some changes in the project leadership, the project itself is proceeding. One of the individuals leaving the company following the merger is Damian Isla, a veteran of Halo and Bioshock franchises. I don't know exactly what he did there on those games, but he founded the Molasses Flood and was serving as a design director of Project Sirius. Again, you got a statement here from, I think this is LinkedIn, I assume. It seems by the layout of the profile picture and the notes here. But yeah, they were absorbed. Let's see how it goes. I don't have a lot of faith at this moment in time on anything coming from CD Projekt. I think the latest better game that they did was Cyberpunk 2077, and even that game got launched with huge amounts of issues. But it seems to be, everything seems to be good at this moment, especially with the Phantom Liberty content there. Other than that, I'm not very hopeful regarding especially the Witcher series. But again, we have to wait and see to make sure if it's something worth or not waiting for. Then we got Days Gone Remastered. We'll get an Horde Assault trailer. Got an Horde Assault trailer. Sorry. Regarding this, they go a lot in details here, but the thing that interesting more for me is the PC side of things. Again, the game it's a relatively cheap game. Seems a very interesting one. I'm not sure. I don't think this is any kind of multiplayer stuff. I usually highlight this game on the deal, usually through GOG when I found it on sale. It seems a pretty good game, very underrated game. They got a sequel working on at the time, but it was canceled, and they are supposedly they were working after that in a completely different multiplayer project, and then that project was already shut down. Again, I think that what they did here, from the feedback that I've been seeing from Band Studios on this Days Gone, seems to be a very interesting game. Again, open world, we got a zombie hordes mechanic there, but it's got some, I think, interesting and I think compelling story. And then we got all the game mechanics that they did pretty solidly, it seems, on the gameplay mechanics of an open world kind of a thing there. But yeah, this Broken Road Horde Assault is part of the Broken Road DLC for PC for $10. Again, I'm not sure if it is worthwhile, this extra money here. But supposedly this Broken Road DLC is not only the Horde Assault, it's got the permadeath mode and speedrun mode. Again, different modes to go about. They're not part of the main story there. And I think this DLC also has some story extra stuff there. I'm not sure. I didn't read fully the Steam page there, but it seems that it might have something there. But yeah, interesting stuff to see. I just hope that I don't know, they do their own thing. Usually, when new studios are formed and they launch the first project, usually I think for them is best to keep themselves kind of in the same genre or in the same type of game that they are used to make, because usually when you make the first project and teams are gelled and are optimized to work in a certain way, when you do a single player game like this and then you just go, now the next project is going to be a multiplayer, you never probably work in a multiplayer game, I think it's a completely different challenge. And again, the what they fought on the higher ups there in terms of demands of the market with this multiplayer stuff, again, all went down the drain, because again, it's not worth it, the risk. Even though supposedly a multiplayer game is less risky to do than a single player game, but again, and like everything, it's a matter of if you have a good idea and you can implement it, I think it's always worth the risk of doing something interesting there. But yeah, terms of news, sorry, this is what I got. Let's wrap up here with some gaming deals. From my Steam library, we got Balatro. Again, a very addicting game. I, at this moment, play mostly on my cell phone. It's the only game that I have on my cell phone. A little bit addicting. But again, it's addicting in the sense that you just want to do just one more run to see if you can do the challenges there or collect anything extra. No microtransitions here, uh, and it's 10% off, so pretty cheap, and it's a full-fledged game here. I think this is an excellent game here. Got a stamp of approval for me. We've got also Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, 85% off. Again, stamp of approval. I will eventually probably try to do a run on this game, and the sequel also, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and it's at this moment also 85% off. I do recommend the digital deluxe edition. It's on sale. All the content, it adds a little bit more in the story of the game there. We got also Doomkeeper. Again, I do recommend this game. Um, I I played a little bit here and there. I like this kind of games, and I think it's a must buy here, especially at this price point, 60% off. If you like this kind of games, I really do think it's a must buy there. And then we got here from my wish list, we got Far Lone Sales. I already downloaded the demo. I will see when I can get and play this demo to see how good it is or not. But it's 90% off at this moment in time. So I think it's, even if you don't like it, I don't think it's wasted money per se. Then we got Midnight Suns still on sale. Stamp of approval from me. I did manage to do a gaming series out of this one because I claim it for free from Epic Game Store, and I do recommend this game from the same guys that brought XCOM 2. Guardians of the Galaxy seems an interesting game. I'm still trying to trick around and see what the best options that I'm going to use for recording a gaming series on this one, and it's at this moment 85% off. We got Batman Arkham Collection, well worth buy here. A very good trilogy, Game of the Year edition of the first two, plus the Arkham Knight and the season pass associated with it. I think it's pretty cheap and for the quality of the games. Then we got also the same thing for Bioshock the collection, excellent trilogy, remastered version of the first two, plus Bioshock Infinite and all the content associated or the extra content associated with those games there. Got also still Red Dead Redemption 2. It's on sale, 75% off. Again, it's one of those Rockstar games that it's very well done. A lot of attentions to details, and I think it's one of those that I will eventually also try for myself one of these days. Then you got Pacific Drive still on sale, 40% off on the base version. It's again one of those. It's just a matter of time until I start playing this game. Got also Dave the Diver is on sale, 40% off. They got a lot of these small collaborations with other stuff, other contents, and I think this one is the Pirate Yakuza game here, the latest collaboration, if not mistaken. Again, very interesting game. Overwhelmingly positive feedback from everybody. And then lastly, we got Baldur's Gate 3, 20% off, Game of the Year when it came out. And we all know how good this game is. Yeah, basically this is it for today. I'll wrap up here with a plug on my Patreon for X support as usual. This extra support is more aligned for me to try and get a better storage solution so I can have backups of the stuff that I do for my clients. And of course, some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.